Hi everyone, it's Gina Pongetti, physical therapist, live here from Paris. It is officially day 9, which was women's qualifying, and it's been a long day. So we're going to try to keep this a little bit short, although we have a little bit to say today, of course, as always, because it is... It's just been a day, as is the thing. Anything can happen in the Olympics, right? So today was women's qualifying, which means that all of the teams and individuals that have qualified for the Olympics get to come to the Olympics, and then they get to perform today. And if they do well enough, they get to make it on. So 24 individual athletes make it to the all-around competition, and 8 individual athletes make it on each event for vault, bars, beam, and floor. With one caveat, the 2 per country rule, which means that there are only 2 athletes per country allowed. So even if 4 people did all around and all 4 people finished 1, 2, 7, and 11, only the first and second would be able to go. Good news, that's a really cool thing because it gives some other countries a chance to actually be in the all around. Interesting news is that when someone works really hard and they're really good, it means that they don't get to be in the all-around even though they have amazing scores. Interesting news number 2 is that the Olympics are for all, and we're trying to get more countries in. We're trying to get more representation out there, which is awesome, and it's one of the reasons why the Olympics was started. And the most awesome news of everything is that one of the athletes that made it, who Luisa Blanco, is actually one of the athletes that I am privileged and with so much grace taking care of here while I am at the Olympics. And we are so very excited for her. She qualified in the 24th spot. She is excited as well. More to come on that, potentially with a live tomorrow with a little interview with Luisa. But right now, I am, of course, wearing a Philippines Olympic shirt right now because my amazing athletes were competing today. I am so proud of you girls. You women, I'm sorry, not girls. I cannot even tell you what an amazing push for your country, for representing, and for just proving that you are just everything about the sport, not just the technical aspect of the sport, but pushing and persevering through college gymnastics and then going back, doing a birthright representation for the Philippines, which hasn't been done in absolutely forever, and hopefully proving to so many young girls that are doing gymnastics that it is absolutely possible to have this be your dream. Spent some time with Emma Malabuyo and her family tonight, and just elated at the process. Nobody understands what goes into a person training for the Olympics for years and years and years, from driving to parent meetings to paying for practices to making sure that they are everywhere they need to be, including physical therapy and their gymnastics lessons when they're little kids and team practices and meets. It's unbelievable. And to have that family here, including Kim Zmeskal, who's one of my best friends, who of course was Emma's club coach forever, was just amazing. So Levi and Leah and Emma, I am so proud of you. And Emma, you have my heart, and I can't tell you how happy and proud you made me today. Cool. Let's go on a little bit to the U.S. So for those of you that woke up this morning and started watching a little bit on Peacock, and then obviously the primetime coverage on NBC, some people woke up with a little bit of a heart attack when they were watching Twitter and the feeds and everybody saying what was going on. So let's just talk about it for a second. So Simone has had some calf pain for a little while, and had it, kind of went away, became no big deal, was in the back of everybody's head just because of the Achilles tears that have happened with Connor and with Sky and with Kayla DiCello and a couple other people that have some sore Achilles and have some ankle tapes right now. So we got here and she tweaked it a little bit, I think on a Biles 2 on floor, and just was a little knowledgeable of it and was thinking about it a little bit, and then went to vault and obviously had some conversations with medical staff on the floor, and then also with Laurent, and felt better as it kind of got warmed up. But obviously it's in the back of everybody's mind. Some people are making a bigger deal out of it than it may be, and some people are, saying she should just brush it off. The media, the Gymternet, etc., says lots of different things. And at the end of the day, it's Simone's body. and what she chooses to do with it, how she chooses to get it treated, how she chooses to rest it, what events she chooses to do. If things don't feel right, is completely up to her. There are a lot of people that say, hey, it's the Olympics, you should do whatever you can and then just fix it later. Well, that doesn't quite work with something in case there's an Achilles or a calf issue and you can't walk and there's tour coming up. There's all kinds of different things. So for every athlete and every medical decision they make, you have to think about many different things, including their long-term health. And I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. Then we go over to, of course, I think the biggest video that was going on social media today was actually Suni's response to what happened to Jade on floor. Interesting to see it live. I will tell you that just being there and watching it unfold was very unsettling, because Jade is such an amazing human being and is just tried so hard to go from being an event specialist, or what was looked at as just a specialist years ago, to being a viable all-around contributor for the team. And Dad, Brian, / coach, was sick earlier in the week, missed practice. Jade was not feeling incredibly well as well. And therefore, thus had a little bit less energy than she was supposed to be, was supposed to have at the Olympics, right? You're a little bit tired. You can potentially do a computer job, not so much compete in the top echelon of elite sports. So I got a whole bunch of text messages and a whole bunch of emails today, asking some questions about what can and can't be done from a WADA, which is the World Anti-Doping Association, USADA, which is the U.S., which really doesn't matter here, and just best medical practices for being at nationals, worlds, Olympics, etc. And obviously through all of the NGBs I'm involved in, including U.S. figure skating, we have to go through testing and understanding of what everyone can go through. So I'm going to give you the down and dirty, and then if you would like to turn this off, that's fine. Otherwise, then we're going to get into some science behind it, which, of course, my friends that are into hematology and nephrology and overall general sports medicine, PCSMs, are going to really love. So first things first. WADA, W-A-D-A, World Anti-Doping Association. They have rules. The rules are for athletes that compete in international competitions. Let's just call the Olympics the one that we are doing today. And there is in-competition rules. There are out-of-competition rules, but within the games themselves. And then there's just rules for all year round, 365. Some of those rules include medicines, what you can put in and out of your body in all orifices. And by that, I mean your ears, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and all other parts that can enter your system, including but not limited to topical medication, things that you breathe in, things that you inhale, things that you smoke, things that you swallow, things that you drink, things that you have by IV, and things that you topically put on your body that can be absorbed through your skin. So, of course, it is up to the athlete in the long run to have the understanding. And for anti-doping rule violations, it's, of course, the athlete and the medical professional that might be at fault for it. So all kinds of people are saying to me, why can't she just have 5,000 Pedialytes? Or what's going on? Are we puking? Are we pooping? Are we sick? Do we have the flu? I mean, just like anybody does if you get sick. And how do you make that better? Well, in the world right now, where everyone has access to proactive medical care, there are a lot of people that are sitting at these medical spas, and they are getting these fantastic little IVs that have all the things in them, because everybody thinks that if they give themselves all the things and then they go out and do the bad things, that it'll just balance itself out. So they're getting electrolytes, they're getting saline, they're getting even glutathiones, they're getting B12s and all the Bs, and you can go in, you can pick a menu of all the things that you want, which is perfectly fine if you're just a housewife that's out on a weekend who drinks a little bit too much. But not okay if you are competing in the Olympics. If you are a recreational marathoner and you don't think that you are going to be winning anything, feel free. But if you are going to be at a world competition, it is not okay for you to do. So the rules are that there is a sometimes okay list, there is an always okay list, and there's a prohibited list. And there are many different classes and areas and lists of things. Category 2 in prohibited is that no more than 100 milliliters, which ends up being somewhere around 7 tablespoons, maybe just a little bit less, of any solution can be put into your body by means of intravenous method of entrance in any 12-hour period. So if someone would like to put an IV in with 6 tablespoons of fluid and videotape it, record it, prove it, do whatever, that's fine, but it has to be less than 100 milliliters. So if you, exceptions are in 2 ways. Number 1, if it's an emergency and you're dying, we're going to fix you. If you get to go to a hospital and you need to have a surgery, different situation. If you have some sort of emergent medical condition where you can't fill out the paperwork, do all the things you need to do, and get the TUE, which stands for a therapeutic use exemption, then you just kind of do it and then ask later. But obviously, if someone's having appendicitis or seizures or any heart issues, I mean, obviously, we're going to save your life. I'm not. People on the floor at the time are going to save your life before they are going to think about a TUE. But in general, can't do it. So, odd, fun information, bit of information, as much as we do love Ryan Lochte and all of his antics that happened at the Rio Olympics. He then made boo-boo number 2 after he was suspended the first time in 2016, in 2018, and his wife and kid were a little bit sick, and he didn't want to get sick, and he really wanted to push training, so they went and get some IVs, and he got one too, and he posted about it, and didn't think about it, didn't know the rules, doesn't matter. It's just like a foreign country. If you don't know the rules, you can't say, sorry, I didn't read them. You can't do it in a contract. If the rules are rules, you have to follow them. So he was also suspended on the anti-doping drug rule violation, and so you can't do it. So how and why does WADA decide what you can and can't do? Well, best practices in medicine means researched evidence, research, peer-reviewed articles, presentations, years and years of respected medical professionals in ways that are respected and peer-reviewed going through say that there is no benefit to IV in the long run from a training perspective and recovery perspective any greater than in significant value than just doing regular oral hydration, whether that is tablets or liquids, Pedialytes, Powerade, Gatorade, whatever your pleasure. So in that, we will go back to the reasons behind it are if you are sick and you don't feel like eating, if you are sick and you don't feel like drinking, if you are puking, if you are having diarrhea, if you have fevers and you are sweating, and all the other reasons that someone would have electrolyte and metabolic imbalances, besides the fact that you're not eating and you're not getting calories, you need to replenish your body and you need to make sure that you have that in your system. So water's great, fine, but if every time you swallow you're going to get nauseous, you kind of want to get the biggest bang for your buck. And if you're going to swallow anything, you might as well swallow fluid that has things in it that mean something. So we are going to take our bucket and we are going to fill it with stuff. We're going to put electrolytes in there. We're going to put minerals in there, etc. So when we're talking about what to get down and what to keep down, sometimes pills make people feel sick, like if you're taking a vitamin. Sometimes fluids make people feel sick because of the volume. So it all depends on the athlete, but what are the options? Okay. So when we are doing when you're doing a general IV, saline is essentially just particles that are easily absorbed by, in our bloodstream and by cells, and it is a salt water solution. So if you're talking about sodium, potassium, calcium, and lactate, then you have a Ringer's, which is just the name for the combination of all of them. Lactate actually is necessary for the body to regulate your different pH levels. This is a little science nerd stuff, but just to add that to it. What else can be in an IV if possible and plausible? We have magnesium, we have chlorides, we can have phosphates, we can have bicarbonates, we can have all kinds of things. We can add minerals to them. We can add schmoopy things like amino acids to help our muscles function and to help our nervous system so we're not twitching and cramping because of dehydration and because our muscles are depleted. We can do different vitamins like B's for nerve energy. We can do immune things, all kinds of things. But You can do that if you had too much wine last night. You can do that if you are training for a pedestrian level marathon or triathlon and you feel like you have trained too hard and you're just too tired. Olympians cannot. So they get to try to get all of that in ways that are legal, either through the sub 100 milliliter category 2 limitation or through some sort of other method of entry. So it's a little bit harder than one would think to just bounce back. If any of you have ever had the pleasure of needing to have IV fluid, as you know, it is really helpful. And it's quick. And sometimes it's like 20 minutes quick and you're feeling a lot better. And then when you feel better, you're hungry, and you can even, if you're nauseous, you don't want to take pills. And so a lot of times we're giving anti-nausea medication or receiving anti-nausea medication. And if you can't swallow pills, you can put that in an IV too, eventually. So what we would like to make sure we're doing is having whatever fluid you like. So if you are a liquid IV girl, if you are Powerade, if you like Gatorade, if you like Gatorade 2, if you like Gatorade 0, if you like Pedialytes, if you bring your own solution in the triathlon endurance sports world, there are customized solutions to what's best for your body. Sometimes too much sodium with a little bit less potassium makes people sick. Sometimes too much potassium makes their heart palpitate. I mean, there's all kinds of different things and levels, and you can customize what your general super popular in the endurance sports world, getting more popular in other worlds of other sports. But now that I've said that whole mumbo jumbo, how do we get people better? Well, number 1, rest. Okay. Number 2, don't do things that are going to make things worse. Don't do activation of muscles if you're already muscle cramping. Number 3, you have to be hydrated so that your body can function. You need water, but you also need all of your major ingredients to your body, like your sodium, potassium, calciums, glucose, etc. Number 4, understand that the bucket is empty. So it's not like you're putting stuff into your bucket like normal person working out, gets themselves a little bit of Gatorade, goes to work out, maybe depletes a little bit, 5%, drinks a little Gatorade, feels fine, continues to work out. You are dragging yourself down, maybe not down to 0. It's not been 2 weeks, but a couple of days. And you want to make sure that you are getting that back up again. Straight water will pull out or dilute what electrolytes you have left in your system. So again, you want to get the biggest bang for your buck in whatever aspect of fluids that you can get into your system. So we want to try to modulate metabolism. We want to try to get back to a homeostatic level, your heart rate, your pH, your muscle function, nervous system function, so that you're not cramping, so that you are not, your body can actually give you energy. What Jade essentially said today was, I just don't have the energy and I'm too tired. And I promise you, she's got the best medical people surrounding her. And at some point in time, the timing of it is just crazy. And because Jade is amazing and she is who she is, she even said to the press today, but also said in her own posts on social media, guys, I've been sick. I just want to let you know this isn't like me. I promise you, this is not something where I am injured. It's not where my head wasn't in the game. When she was doing her last pass, she just did a single flip and kind of what we call pulled out or balked out of it. And it wasn't because she had pain somewhere. It was because she knew that A, she was too tired to flip it. B, she made a split-second decision, which most likely was in the back of her mind her entire floor routine. And C, she was in the middle of it noticing where she was and how she wasn't in space where she needed to be. She didn't feel that quick pop off the floor enough to know that if she would have tried 2 flips, it probably would have ended in an ankle injury, some sort of knee injury, landing on her face, who knows, but she knows better. And so she was there. Now, obviously not the results that she wanted. She is an Olympian 3 years ago and did amazing things on floor and had lots of chances. So she chose wisely. She's trained wisely. Obviously, her dad is her coach. Her family is very supportive of her, and just bad timing, just like Shilese and Sky and Connor and everybody else included, and Kayla. So again, I go back to what I've said so many times this week. The Olympics are about who made it there at this time, in this week, in this moment, in these 4 years, with the people that are surrounded by them. It is not necessarily who is the best at the time. writing a cool article on that as well, about how sport is very different than something like writing a book where you can have editors and doing a movie. So how different it would be. So in conclusion, sometimes no fast answer. Glad Jade put her health above harming herself today. When you treat athletes and you do things, you understand what you eat and what you put in your mouth, but you have to understand the rules too. So what we want and what we can have is sometimes very different and very dichotomous, right? We have a lot that is to be said about calories as well, which is kind of in parallel to this, but it's the end of a very long day. So we'll talk about that at another time. But we are very, very interested in making sure that when you calorie deplete, that you also are depleting your glycogen stores, and your muscles just don't have any energy to do anything. And that takes a little while to bounce back again. And obviously it affects everything from your liver to your kidneys, to your heart, to your adrenal system, to everything else. So make sure that in the grand scheme of life with athletes that are in the normal outside of Olympic world, that you take the time to replenish everything, and that when your strength is back, your strength is back. It affects proprioception, balance, etc. One of the biggest reports of injuries is either coming back from another injury and not being strong enough, or coming back from a sickness and literally physically just not being strong enough because of having been out and lethargic and everything else. So I am going to end today with the fact that we hope that everybody stays happy and healthy. At least we're not in the 3 years ago craziness of COVID, where everybody is cheek swabbing every day like we had to do when we were in Tokyo for the Olympics, and making sure we're not contagious. But the risk of injury for someone who is really tired and under the weather and everything is super high. So there are lots of scales to balance when saying, should I be competing today or should I maybe not? Obviously, if it's a level 7 meet, one meet of 5, it's a different story than when it's at the Olympics, because it is, it's a lot. You don't want to miss your chance, but you want to make sure that you stay healthy. And the risk of orthopedic injury while competing, even though you have a metabolic issue, they go hand in hand because of nerve function and muscles and fatigue and everything else. So, anyway, thanks for listening. We will be doing hopefully another live tomorrow, where lots of topics that we need to be talking about depending on the day. I'm trying to be a little bit responsive to the day, but also get some things in that I think y'all really need to hear. We're going to talk about scoring a little bit tomorrow and how gymnastics is scored. I will be linking to an amazing article that Inside Gymnastics did on scoring. And if you're listening or watching this, please head over to that. It's in the Paris Olympic section with us for the magazine, and absolutely fantastic explanation in depth of the D, which is the difficulty score, and the E score. We wish our men's team good luck tomorrow. We and the men from all over the world, I wish them a happy, safe, and healthy competition. It is team finals. People are going to be pulling big tricks. We also can talk a little bit about the Weiler kip. People are just kind of typing in right now. And why Simone may not have done that today for a plethora of reasons. And we can go through tomorrow. I'm writing this down. I got my pen. I'm ready. And we can talk about the decisions as to when to do a new skill, and how to weigh those things with greater good for the team and also for individuals. So with that, I will call it good night. It is 1:25 in the morning here, and we have a men's day that starts a little bit later tomorrow. Hope y'all are enjoying the Olympics. Again, congratulations to everyone that competed today, especially those that were here individually or from smaller countries, or who were really making big feats, like Lindsay from Haiti, and my Luisa from Colombia, and our amazing Philippines team. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Ta-da from Paris.